call that radio? You call that radio TV? No. You call that radio TV?
This is You Call That Radio.
Yeah, no respecting it, I respect the man like Mark. They love what the man talk on the radio. In case you never know. You call that radio, call that the radio. You call that radio, call that the radio. Come and say, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, just go with the flow. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, just go with the flow. So till you miss a mark, now go bend down low. Till you miss a mark, now go bend down low. Boom. Lot of mercy. Yo. You call that radio. You call that radio. Come and say, don't you be an head, man, I'll go lose your head. Say, don't you be an head, me say, I'll lose the head. Me say, radio, call that a radio, straight from outer Glasgow, straight from outer Glasgow, nice enough on the studio. Come and say, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, just go with the flow. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, just go with the flow. So till you miss a mark, now go bend down low. Till you miss a mark, now go bend down low. No radio, you call that the radio.
Oh, fuck.
If you don't really know what's going on, there's a show that also doesn't know what's going on. Call that radio TV. You call that radio. Call that radio TV. You call that radio TV.
Welcome to You Call That Radio TV. We have an absolute legend. Alba, Enid, Garcia, Rivas is in the house. And it's an absolute honour. Because I think we can go live right now to New York.
Oh. Yes.
How are you doing?
I am so happy to be here because I'm on the other side of the world right now, and I'm excited about it. Yes,
I'm excited as well. It's first time I've been in New York, and I understand it's the first time you've been to Glasgow.
Whoa, I'm receiving feedback right now.
Do you have a set of earphones? Do you have earphones? Or is it because if you've got earphones, maybe that'll make it easier, or it might be because you're watching the show. Are you watching the show as well?
Yeah, but I already fixed it. I'm fine.
It's fine. It's because there's two shows on. Amazing. Thank you so much for joining us today. I've been a fan of your work since before I even knew who you were, because I was a big fan of Celebrity Deathmatch. So was that one of your big breaks early on?
Yeah, actually, when I finished my college, my degree in college in stop motion, that was my first gig. That was my first job as an animator for Celebrity Deathmatch.
Amazing stuff. Was that exciting? I mean, it was such a huge show. It was massive. It was when MTV was still a big thing. It was one of MTV's first forays into sort of non-music TV.
Yeah, and this show particularly lasted like 10 seasons. It was one of the biggest, and whenever I go visit, England, or they always talk about this show, and this show was very powerful. It was entertaining, and I think there's gonna be a new series of Celebrity Deathmatch. I don't know when, but I think it's from Canada that they're trying to do that again. They want to reboot that show again.
Oh, amazing. Yeah, it was just it just broke all the rules, and I think so many people just loved it because anything could happen. It was just the animation on it was amazing, and yeah, no, I was a massive fan of it and still am. So yeah, it's so cool. And how did you get into like stop motion animation? And well, obviously you do loads of stuff. You're a film director, stop motion animation, sculpturing, everything. So it's I take it your story begins in Puerto Rico.
Yeah, I was born and raised there. Since I was 8 years old, I was doing oil paintings. So when I was selling my paintings when I was 8, 12, 16 years old. So when I went to college, I explored acting, I explored painting, and I decided to go into the animation side because I could tell a story, not just a painting, which is a still image. I wanted to tell a story with different with movement. So that's when I went to School of Visual Arts in New York, and then I learned the craft there. And since then, I just focus on sculpting and making puppets and making the puppets move with a story. Yeah.
And it takes a lot of patience. Are
Yes.
you a patient person in general, or is it
No.
just
I am totally the opposite, but because you get this, when you're animating, you have to act it first. Then you have to take the time. How long would it take for me to do this movement, and how many increments of movement? Because 1 second is 24 pictures, photographs. So, for example, it could take me 8 hours to make 6 seconds or 4 seconds, and
wow?
that's a long time. So you have to take breaks, but you cannot take longer breaks because if you go and eat something, something might shift. Maybe the light gets dimmer. Maybe the character move. So you have to be very, very specific. You have to eat quick, go back to animating, and finish that take that day. It's very difficult, but when you see the movement, you get so excited and you get so animated and happy that you want to finish that movement. So that's what drives the art of animation. It's very tedious, and
That
sometimes your body hurts like crazy, like your back hurts, your knees, because sometimes we have to animate on our knees, or sometimes you're animating inside the set and your back hurts. So you have to be gentle to yourself, and it is difficult, but the rewards of looking at the beautiful animation in front of you is the magic that every animator needs. That's the drive of the craft.
it's interesting that you mentioned that you take a little break is good for you, but not too long, because there seems to be a lot of science involved. Like I know that if I'm writing something or doing one task that I need to do, that if I take 2 minutes away, I come back refreshed, full of ideas. And there is science to it. Apparently, it does actually help to do a couple of different things at the same time. But there is a limit on it. So I think if you take a 2 minute to 5 minute break, you come back refreshed with enthusiasm, new ideas. But if you go away for 10 minutes, then you've lost the train of thought. So it's like maybe bringing your subconscious mind comes in and helps out a little bit or something like that.
Yes, but also the eyesight. When you are so up close to the puppet, your eyes, the focus, it gets bad. You get bothered by the lighting hitting your eyes. It can give you migraines as well. And
Yeah.
the lighting also is very hot too, because the lighting that we use are is not LED. Is sometimes it's the other one, so it's get very hot in the set. So there's so many factors that can affect you. That's why you need to get away for a little bit, refresh your eyes, refresh your body. Sorry, but you need that break. Sorry.
We've got the hold on. I'm just going to change the green screen because I've got a new green screen that I'm playing around with, and this is the Dangerously Ever After. So that was cool. And this is your Dangerously Ever After. Is this the film that you're working on just now? You're just about to finish it?
Yeah. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I'm going to give you a second because what we're going to do is we're going to play the the trailer. So I'm going to play the trailer just now. Everyone, if you're watching on Facebook or Twitter, then you just need to get the bus to YouTube because it's better quality on YouTube. It'll look better. It'll sound better. And so we're going to not stream to Facebook or Twitch or Twitter. go to YouTube. I've put the link in the comments. If you're already on YouTube, then welcome. Welcome to You Call That Radio TV with Alba E. Garcia Rivas. This is a little clip of the film that she's currently working on.
Yes, these will be perfect. Huh? Bless you. Bless you. Bless you. Bless you. Bless you. Ah!
Stuff. We're just going to go live over to YouTube right now. So if you're on Facebook, please join us for this show. I'm really excited about it. All the way live from New York. The link is here. So by Facebook, by Twitch, by Twitter. And we're going to go back to Alba E. Garcia Rivas. And
Sorry about that. I think something happened in my throat. I'm sorry.
Okay, no, it's all good. It's all good. For everyone who wants to watch the rest of the show, go to get the bus to YouTube, as we call it, getting the bus to YouTube. So by Facebook, we're removing news, we're removing Twitch, and we're removing Twitter. It's good to have everyone in the same place, I find. You know, so that's why we're kind of focused on YouTube just now. So we're live on YouTube, and hopefully everyone else that was will join us. So let's talk about this film. So that was in 2019. It says coming soon, and obviously in stop animation, coming soon can mean quite a while away. Yeah.
So basically, this film started as soon as I finished the other one. I think it was 2015, 2016. And because we are only two animators, and we have to animate during the weekends because we have regular 9-to-5 jobs. So basically I have to live a life. Of course, I'm a mother, and I'm also a professional. But the weekends and the days that we were off was why we took the time to animate, and it took right now like 6 years in the making, and now we are finishing the post-production part. Music is done like 95%, and it's just adding the faces into the characters that we already animated. That takes the long time right now. I think it's gonna be done this year. Finish.
So that's like the face that you see here.
Yeah.
So who's this? Who's this? Oh.
Yeah.
Who's that?
Right there. Yeah.
Who is it? What's that person's name?
Her name is Amanita, and
Amanita.
she's very dangerous. So basically, the process on this film is that we animated the puppet completely, animated the puppet moving in space, and now we are tracking the face. Not that face. We have a special face with different dots. So we can track the movement in space of the character, and then we can add a 3D animated face into the character that already was animated. That's
Amazing.
the process we're working now.
In 6 years, does the storyline change at all, or do you just stick to what the original idea was, or is there any changes while you're throughout that process?
So because it was based on an award-winning picture book that was already famous, I team up with the author and I created a screenplay based on the book, and she approved it. So there's a lot of the content. It remains the same. Even the concept art remains the same. I just took a little bit of artistic licenses in transitioning from one take to the other, maybe change a little things, but it remains just like the book. So when the child is gonna look at the film, it's gonna look at the film just like the book it was. They will not, they will love the characters. They will love the interactions that is the same in the book as in the film.
Amazing stuff. And We've got comments coming in. Martin Windybank, who was absolute legend, he introduced us. So shouts to Martin for introducing us to each other. He's an amazing film director, graphic designer, musician. He does it all, does Martin. So shouts to Martin. Imagine you call that radio bus. Yeah, that's a good idea because we say get the bus to YouTube. Maybe I need to make an animation that just a wee bus that goes away. So yeah, that's a good idea. Amelia Charles says stunning work with regards to that little trailer we watched.
Amelia, hello. Amiga,
You know Amelia?
She's a friend of mine.
Hello, Amelia. Welcome. Is Amelia also New York?
Yes, yes. She actually helped certain parts of the film of Dangerously Ever After. Before the pandemic, I had a family of artists that every weekend they came home. I cooked for all of them, and they helped some animating, some making sets, some building trees, and it was such a beautiful family. Every weekend my house was full with artists,
Amazing.
and I miss them so much. I'm
And
telling
what
you.
and what was for dinner? What was
Huh?
for food? What was for food? What was for dinner? When you're saying that you made food, what kind of food did you make?
Oh, the food, Puerto Rican food.
Puerto
Oh my
Rican?
God. Rice, beans, sometimes lasagna, sometimes pasta.
Yes.
But yeah, oh my God. We love to, well, I love to do that because when I was studying in Puerto Rico, there was a very, a sculptor person, and he was very famous. And he every time that he knew I was a student, art student, so he knew I didn't have money to eat at lunchtime. So he and his wife always invited us to their house, and I ate there every single day. What that taught me was that being an artist and being in the artistic community, even by cooking, you can bring people into the story. In this case, I decided to do it with all the people who were helping in the film. So they came here on Saturday. We spent all day making art for the film. Sunday, the same thing. While I was animating, or was Julio was animating, Amelia and Adam and the other ones, they were making sets. And then I said, you know what? I don't even have money to pay you. So my way of giving back was through cooking, to making food for them, to enjoy, to making jokes together, working in art together. And that's the way I decided to work on the films,
And
because
food,
these films are done in my house basically.
yeah, and food is an art as well. Let's not forget that
Yes.
food is an art. It's an art form. We've got Rebecca Radical says family of artists sounds like the dream. Rebecca Radical was on the show on Saturday night doing her birthday party. That's on our YouTube channel if you want to check that out. She's an artist herself. She does artwork, fashion design, music, and all that stuff. So glad to see you tuned in tonight, Rebecca. Paul says stop motion has come a long way from the amazing work of Ray Harryhausen.
Yes, Ray Harryhausen. Oh my God, yes. One of my idols. Actually, I have a book here. Ray Harryhausen, I have the book actually with me, of his work and his artistry. Such an influence in my work.
And is there any other influences that you would say stand out?
Well, obviously, Celebrity Deathmatch, but Tim Burton, The Nightmare Before Christmas was classic. That's what sold it to me about stop motion. Tim Burton was amazing. Actually, as a matter of fact, the armature of the puppet of that character that you had behind you of Dangerously Ever After, Amanita, was built by a person that worked for Tim Burton, Corpse Bride. He made the armature for Corpse Bride, and he made the armature for my work, my puppet.
Wow, that's amazing. And have you managed to work with Tim Burton yourself?
Not yet, but I know the people who he worked with, and in the industry, I get invited to studios like Leica Studios, and then they won 3 Mill Studios in England. I was there too. So they were doing the movie Isle of Dogs, and they invited me to see the set and everything. And it was impressive to see their work in England and in Oregon with Leica. They did Kubo and Coraline. So it's very exciting looking at how stop motion is doing now. All these big films that are being made, you know.
We've got Joe McCann says that he loves stop go motion. Hello, Joe. Ali Grant says hello, beauties. Stay warm. Is it warm? Is it? You're saying that? Oh, we can hear a New York siren in the background. How is the weather down there? And how's lockdown? Where is New York at just now?
It's not that bad. It really isn't. It was a few flurries yesterday, and today is still warm. It's warmer than it used to at this time of the year back in 20 years ago. 20 years ago, it was like 0 degrees.
Yeah. And is there right now in Scotland we're all locked down. There's very little open. Apart from I think supermarkets is about the only thing that is open. Is New York kind of shut down just now, or is
Yes.
things starting to open and back up?
Oh yes, it's not the same thing anymore. Like when you used to go downtown where Manhattan is, um, it's so there's not that many people. A lot of people are leaving Manhattan, and over here where I live, I haven't left my house basically for almost a year.
Yeah,
We don't leave the house. We get our groceries in the house. Um, Especially in this area, is kind of some people don't like to wear masks
yeah,
still, and I don't want to put myself into that position because some people they're getting a little bit angry
yeah,
because they're frustrated, but some of them they choose not to wear it,
yeah.
and I cannot put myself in that kind of situation, in that kind of danger basically.
As with them Dangerous Liver after we're at post production. When do
Mhm.
you think have you got a date in mind for the release?
I think I giving myself about 8 months
Yeah,
because we have about 3 artists that are working on that. Um, and then I have to edit the film, and then add all the elements that are already in place. The music is done, um, and the voices are already done. The foley for the sound effects done, but it's just a matter of putting it together now, and adding the special effects. So about 8 months from now.
and obviously with the situation we're in just now as well, you don't really know. I mean, how do you release it? Would you try and if you can't, if hopefully cinemas are returned by then, or at least the ability to gather. But if not, would you be willing to just do it as a digital only release, or have you thought about how you would launch it if we aren't allowed to gather when it is ready to go?
I was thinking we are trying to go for HBO or Netflix for distribution. We
Yeah,
still don't know, but I think that's where we want to do the film, because this film is it is short. It's about 10 minutes, 10 to 30 minutes, and I think we're gonna try to do Netflix or HBO Max.
and HBO, you are obviously we don't. It's a bit strange with HBO because we don't get HBO in the UK, but
Oh,
we obviously I think the shows that HBO would do they obviously get bought by Sky or BBC or Channel Four.
got
So
it.
obviously familiar with lots of HBO's work. Since The Sopranos, I think was HBO, wasn't it?
Yes.
So that's when we first started seeing that name HBO, and there's been so much amazing television that has came through there. And what's it like working? Because I know that obviously you're an HBO Max director and stuff like that. What's your experiences of working with HBO, and has there been any shows on HBO that you particularly enjoy?
Well, my producer was the one who who put our film on HBO. Um, I personally I watch more Netflix than HBO, but that's the way, because of some of the shows that I like are there, like Stranger Things and all these fun series. But HBO has given me the opportunity to show Dacto Taino, which is I Am Taino, the film that I did with Jim Henson's daughter Heather Henson. So they gave me that opportunity, and I'm forever grateful about it. But I didn't expect that this little film about being indigenous in Puerto Rico was gonna be so the people will like it. I mean, so many people are raving about it. They love it. They feel connected. It's because we have so many people in the diaspora, people all over the world that came from Puerto Rico, that they have a family member from Puerto Rico. And this film shows our traditions and our culture. And it's probably the first film being made that way. And I see the acceptance worldwide. And for me, that is such a key role for as an educator, that my film is being accepted everywhere.
Well, let's have a little look at it. I think that's a good um, time to have a little look at it, just for people who aren't aware of it. So let's have a wee listen.
Abuela Yaya, ¿tú crees que sobreviviremos?
Nena, ven aquí. Los boricuas no nos quitamos, nos levantamos.
Pero tengo miedo.
Escúchame bien, Marabeli. Nuestros ancestros cuidaban y protegían nuestra tierra abundante.
Oh, ya veo.
¿Qué te pasa, Marabeli?
Abuela, tú dices que los taínos existen. Entonces, ¿dónde están?
Ay, bendito. Mira, hay una aquí.
¿Cómo se dice? Yo soy taíno.
Tacto taíno.
Stuff. I've changed my background especially for it. As you
Yeah.
can see. That was great.
So this film was created because Jim Henson's daughter, she is an advocate for indigenous people. And she asked me if I could do a film about my culture. And then at that, a couple of weeks after she asked me, Hurricane Maria hit Puerto Rico. And so I saw the response of the US government towards my island and abandoning our people. And basically, I saw how so many people died, and I couldn't even communicate with my family when hurricane hit Puerto Rico. All the communications were off. So I decided, let me write a film about this, about the abandonment of the United States, of Puerto Rico, in the moment that they needed most, and after we gave so much to them. We lost a lot of people in wars that we didn't have to. So basically, the film is a political film in that sense, showcasing the abuse, but also it teaches us how this grandmother is helping this little girl, her grandchild, understanding her history, understanding her indigenous history as well, and how we can move forward and create a better uh, Puerto Rico, or better opportunities for our people in Puerto Rico.
Well, I think it's a very good message that's international as well, because I mean we before the last 100 years, I would say we have a totally different outlook on how we look at. We used to look up to our elder tribes people who would pass on wisdom, and
Mhm.
now older people's voices don't seem to matter. It seems to be, it's a very a particular age group where people are listening to, unless you're obviously white, rich white men. Obviously, they get listened to no matter what age they are, of course. But in general, we aren't listening to the wisdom of people that came before us.
Hmm. The elders are so important in indigenous people's community. They are the ones who in Puerto Rico we have our indigenous community is the Taino Puerto Rico, the Taino indigenous people, and the elder or the grandmas and grandpas, or especially the grandmas, gave the name to the children, to the babies. It's such a beautiful thing because they gave the name based on their baby's character, um, and they were the ones with the wisdom. And I think all in indigenous communities across the whole world, that's the message: love the planet, live in a community, grow as a community. And also the elders are the wisdom, are the we want to achieve being an elder in life. We want to be the elder that can help the next generation understand who they are, understand their relationship with the planet, their environment, and that's something that we need to really focus on right now.
Iria says, "Power to the indigenous voices, and you are a superhuman," says
Thank
Iria.
you.
Angela says, "A lovely thing is giving food." And Paul says, "The skill around just now is astonishing. When I first saw Cubo and the two string, I thought it was CGI."
Yeah, I know. It looks a yeah.
And then Lou says, "Regrettably, I've not watched anything by Jim Henson for years. The last thing I watched from Henson Productions was Pajanimals."
Yeah.
And what's it like? What's it like, Jim? I mean, I know you've met Jim Henson and stuff like that, and obviously you've worked with that. How much of an inspiration is Jim Henson's legacy?
Well, when I decided to move on with the film, she offered me a studio to actually shoot the film. So the studio was in Manhattan, what used to be Jim Henson's house in Manhattan. And I was couldn't believe it. I was in the place where Jim created, and it was a religious experience to have. Oh my goodness, I'm here where this person that I admire, this is an he was an influence in my work as well, and now I am in his workshop shooting a film
And
about
that just
my culture. That was so important in my life.
and did you get any feedback from Jim about it?
Oh no, no, Jim, Heather,
Yeah,
his daughter was the person who we are friends, but Jim died many years ago. So I am talking. I'm making films with his daughter.
yes, yeah, sorry about that. I didn't realise that he passed away before you'd actually got in touch with him. No problem. But I'm sure that Jim would have been looking down because you're obviously going to feel that same energy from the place where all his great creative ideas came from.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I wanted to do something totally different to what Jim created. Even the puppets that we made, we wanted to be have a different feeling, more like a Puerto Rican feeling, if you will, because I wanted the grandma to look like all the grandmas in Puerto Rico, nice and chubby and cuddly, and the little girl is kind of like me. It's a story about my grandma and me talking, because again, my grandmother was indigenous too. So yeah, the influence that Jim gave us, which is one of the things, he was a visionary too, but he also was making people together. Like if you see the Muppets and you see Sesame Street, he was bringing all ethnicities together, and that's what I wanted to do, with this film with Dr. Cataino. Mm.
And there's so much, because when people make films about the life, we had Dave McLean, who recently released a film this week about his life. So you've got to make a film with actors portraying something in the 70s, but obviously you're limited when you go to animation and sculptures and all the amazing things that you're involved in. You can create a magic world, which is it's different from reality. You can
Mhm.
put your real life experience into the imagination of a child, basically, and bring them all together to create something incredible.
Yeah, and that's what my new film that I wrote. It brings all that fantasy, the fantasy elements, the educational elements too. Even our language is in the new film that we're trying to get funding for. This film is a fantasy adventure, and it talks. It's kind of like, how can I say? It's kind of like Goonies in how the adventure is, and E.T. the E.T. the extraterrestrial by Steven Spielberg. So we have a character that is an indigenous character that comes through time. So we want that fantasy, we want that adventure feeling, and
That it's,
that's
it's
what
funny
I'm
you mentioned it.
focusing more.
It's funny that you mentioned that because I understand why you like Stranger Things then, because Stranger Things always reminded me of kind of a cross between the Goonies and E.T. And obviously that was my age, but I remember growing up as a child watching those films and the adventure all over the place.
Oh, I don't know if it's the same in Scotland, but in Puerto Rico, because we live near, my grandmother lived in the mountains. My grandmother used to say to me when I was 12, go outside, go to the river, and there's a rock over there. And then the thing is, we went into in our bikes by ourselves. There was no adults with us. It was us kids exploring. And I don't know how it was for you when you were growing up, but that was my growing up, was in the mountains, basically looking and discovering and having adventures. How was it for you over
Yeah,
there?
I mean, well, that's when it. Well, obviously back then there was really no other choices. You know, there was a couple of TV channels, and but there was no internet, there was no phone, so it was climbing trees and running around and trying to find adventures as well. So I mean, it's a shame. That's why it's a shame for kids in general because of they're so lucky to have all the technology, but they're maybe missing out by not getting out and on these adventures and stuff. And also, it's a real shame for kids just now because obviously, they can't even see their friends, they can't even go to school and stuff like that as well. So it's a really tough time for them.
Yeah,
But
that's
maybe,
right.
but maybe the flip side is that maybe when things do open up and it is safer again, maybe they want to get out of the house rather than wanting to sit in the computer. Maybe they want to go on adventures and socialize more. And the same thing I hope for live music and stuff as well. That maybe because we've not been able to do it for the last year. That when it does open back up, maybe we're going to find um, something bigger and something more meaningful than just watching Netflix. No offense, Netflix.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of saving the day. They're kind of saving the day, really.
It's but I'm telling you, it's good though because we wouldn't be able to have a lockdown at all in the 80s or the 90s. Can you imagine that? If we were locked down and we had no internet or these, because we're very lucky that we've got these. You're in New York, I'm in Glasgow, and we can have a chat. But in
Yes.
the 90s, what how would we deal with that? So we are lucky that it's happened at this point in time.
Yeah, I mean, when I was growing up, that was it. We played. My brother used to play. Basketball outside, and or is outside of the house, and we play in the streets together. Or oh my God, we went to the park together. So many good memories outside and enjoying the life, friendships, and that's gonna come back. That's gonna come back. I believe it. It's just that we have to be very careful now. It's dangerous times now. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've got the. Can you tell us a little bit about time
Mhm.
space reflections?
Yeah. So this film, I made it. It has a little bit of a sad story to it because when I was a teacher 2003, and I was teaching children in the middle school, like I would say 13, 14-year olds. And I one of my students was a set of twins, twin girls. And I encountered them when they were 16 later on, and then one of them was an intern with me in my company. But 2 years after that, when they were 21, one of them died. She had an epileptic seizure when she was sleeping, and she died in her sleep. And I mean, here is a 21 healthy year woman about to get married, being a teacher, and then she all of a sudden, suddenly she dies in her sleep. Her twin sister and I work on this film. I wrote the film and I invited her to see the storyboard. And I told her, this is my way. Well, can we do this together? Can we grieve together? And that's how we did. How I did that time space reflections. Basically, it's a story of twins in different parts of the, like different dimensions, that they lost their own twin, and they're looking into finding themselves again, and they're trying to open a portal so they can be reunited again. And it's a film that is grieving. It's a grieving film. It's for me to release that energy of losing a student, of losing a friend.
And that's it's about taking that the horrible negative energy and turning it into something good.
Yeah.
And I think that's when art is at its best, because there's something beautiful and hopeful about taking the pain and then turning it into something positive. So congratulations for doing that, because it's a difficult thing to do, but by you doing that, hopefully other people can watch that and relate to that, and hopefully it helps them grieve too.
hmm And since that, we have grown to be so close. I mean, she's now a mother, and the other twin that is still, she's an artist, and she's a mom, and I can see, you know, that her twin sister is in heaven, but she's watching over us, and she's happy about all this, because we're very spiritual. Well, we artists, I try to be spiritual, Um, I'm so happy that I got to meet her, and well, now she's my guardian angel, I will say.
That's amazing. Blue says, "What a beautiful way to tell your story." And The Goonies is still one of the best adventure films ever, along with Adventures in Babysitting. I don't know that one. Do you know that one?
No, I don't know that one, but I know, of course, the Goonies. That I grew up with that.
Well, back then it was like there was only about 10 films that were suitable for our age group. So it was The Goonies. You'd watch a film, you'd get it on VHS, and you'd watch it over and over again, because there was very few films out
Back to
there.
the Future,
Back to the
that
Future,
was good.
amazing. That was very good, very good. Angela says this lady is a true artist,
Thank you.
and Rebecca says beautifully put. Couldn't agree more.
Let me show you some of my. This is some of my sculpting. That's
Yes,
my
please do.
puppets.
That'd be great.
And well, you can go to my website and check it out, but these are some of my work.
Amazing.
I like to do stories on characters. I like to create. This is with a Lederhausen. I like European myth and folk and legends, and I also love to learn more about other cultures. That is my whole thing. Is learning about others, and now I'm just taking the time to learn my own culture, the culture that was lost through colonization. And one of the things is this girl here. This is the goddess Atabey, um, the
Oh
goddess
yeah,
of
see it.
fertility for the Taino indigenous people.
Amazing.
And then this is the coqui. Is a diagram of a little frog that we have that is emit this sound, coqui. So I try to have it in my everyday to remind me of my ancestry.
Well, it's beautiful. I remember the funny thing is that when we first spoke uh, on a message, the first thing you asked me was tell me about the Scottish music, and
Yeah.
I sent you over some Scottish bands, and that was really nice that you're really interested in hearing about more about the Scottish culture.
Oh my God. I don't know, but but I know that my daughter, I named her Rowan, as the Rowan tree. Um, and and the legends about Thor and the Rowan tree and everything. That for me, I like to learn about legends, especially from different English, European legends. They're fascinating to me. The
And
Greek legends, the Greek gods, the Norse gods. For me, that's so interesting because all I love is fantasy and how fantasy can help tell a story, a
oh,
message in a story.
what about Alba as well? Like, obviously, Alba is is a Gaelic name for Scotland as well. What's the significance of Alba in Puerto Rican culture?
Alba means light. Um,
Yeah.
in the Puerto Rican in the Spanish culture, basically, because Alba is a Spanish name. It means white. Oh my god! And I'm dressed in white today. It means white and it means light.
Oh, amazing! I'm just,
That's so
I'm just,
funny. I'm dressed in
yeah,
white today.
yeah. Alba, Scottish Gaelic name for Scotland, is cognate with the Irish term Alba. So yeah,
Wow.
it's a sunrise. It means sunrise, I believe, in Gaelic, Scottish Gaelic or Irish Gaelic. I'm not sure which one. So also
I
try
love
Alba.
that. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
So Alba is referred to in Scotland. I think like Scottish Gaelic and also some European countries might refer to Scotland as Alba as well. So there you go. It's
Wow. I mean,
small.
everything comes together.
It all
We're
comes
in a full
together.
circle.
We're in a full circle. Alan says this is a really interesting chat. What an inspirational person. And I've put the link to the website as well, guys. So if you want to see more of Alba's stuff, go there. And also on Twitter, it's Alba. Oh, in fact, I'll check that because it's Alba E, I believe. Alba E Garcia on Twitter and Instagram. If you search for Alba E Garcia Rivas, you'll find it there. Paul's asking, in Celebrity Deathmatch, which celebrity did you have the most fun destroying?
I think what was the one? It was Van Damme. Van Damme. I think I did Van Damme and Sylvester Stallone.
John Claude Van Damme and Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah, I mean that's what I remembered. I mean, it's been 20 years.
Yeah, Van Damme and Stallone. I'm going to see if I can find that
Oh my god.
Let's see if we can find it.
And
So,
then they canceled the show soon after. Hey, it happens, it's the
uh,
business.
yeah, it's so I've just got, see if there's an image of that there. It's yeah. So I've got the. I don't want to play any of that in case there's copyright issues. But
Yes,
yeah,
yes, don't do that.
don't do that. Don't do that. We'll stay away from that just now. But you will find Celebrity Deathmatch is still available online, so you'll be able to find it. There's no doubt about it.
It probably is, but I'm not sure because I was just the animator.
Yeah,
No.
and with regards to the Scottish culture as well. If you want to learn a bit more about Scottish culture, then we're doing a show on Saturday, which is the Friction Burn Supper, which is there's a thing called every year everyone celebrates Rabbie Burns, the poet, but we do an alternative slant on it. So there's going to
Wow.
be lots of poets, music, comedians, and a big mixture of things this Saturday night at
Oh
seven
my
o'clock
god, that's so
Scottish
cool.
time. So yeah, if you tune in, I think you're at what time is it in New York just now?
Right now it's 2:50. Well, it's 2:50 in the afternoon.
Yeah, two
So
fifty.
that will be 13,
Two
14
o'clock.
hours.
Yeah, so 2 o'clock in the afternoon on Saturday. If you tune in, you'll see us. We'll be celebrating Scottish style on this show. So yeah, tune in. It'll be a bit later than us. So we might be drinking whiskey. So we might, but remember it is later at night. So yeah, but that's one to look forward to. So you're on Instagram, you're on Twitter. How's the best way for people to? Is that the best way for people to keep up to date with all your projects?
Yes, especially Instagram, Twitter. I'm on Facebook as well. And Facebook is where I put newest, like breaking news and stuff like that. But Instagram is getting more into the big stuff that I put in. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got it here. So this is the Instagram. The Instagram link is here for anyone wanting to do it because it's especially just now with everybody going crazy. arguing with each other, and I don't know they are on my Facebook. Instagram's just quite a nice break because there's just lots more. If you follow the right people, you just get to see interesting pictures and photographs people have taken, and there's less arguing on Instagram, I suppose.
I know. Yeah, it's lighter. The culture is more happy, a better energy, I will say. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, we've got Lou says that she still wish Courtney Love smashed up Dave Grohl, so she's not letting that fight go. We've got Empress, who's amazing. She's a female rapper from Paisley in
Whoa.
Scotland, and she's brilliant. So that's one that I'll send you because we're making a wee playlist
Yes.
up for Alba
I
to
think I
check out.
saw her. I think I saw her. Yeah.
Yeah,
Empress.
yeah.
Amazing work.
You might have seen her on her channel. She did a great gig for us a few weeks ago. So yeah, amazing stuff. And what advice would you give to anyone who's maybe wanting to get involved in what it is you do, whether that's animation or sculpturing, or is there what's the best way to start doing it?
To start creating, you mean?
Yes.
Okay, well, when I went to college for stop motion, but before that, I taught myself how to do sculpting. So I did, and that back 20 years, I have to teach myself real anatomy on how to make those things, make bodies and stuff. But there are clubs in Facebook that they teach. They have videos on how to create a puppet, especially a puppet that you're gonna use for animation. So basically, there's a lot of tutorials that can help you. We basically do the armature inside of the puppet in some it's a wire armature that we use 1/8 inch, and then you build it up with clay. But there's a lot of tutorials in YouTube about that, and it's easy. Or there's so many ways right now that you can find, and you can do stop motion on your own. Some people do it with Lego, and it's a way for kids to really understand the increments and the timing for animation. If right now, for that's for as far of animation and sculpting. Um but I don't know, I right now what I usually do is look for online classes. And if I were a child now, that's what I would do: look for YouTube videos, try to create my own and craft my own puppets made out of armature wire and stuff. um what else? What was the second part of the
Yeah,
question?
no, I think that's great. It's good that you mentioned the Lego thing as well, because I noticed that there's a couple of my friends, like kids, have started doing the stop Lego animation thing. Seems to be really popular just now, especially since lockdown. That I've seen a couple of people getting involved in it. So maybe all this extra time in the house, maybe that we've got. And also, we're very lucky that we've got YouTube tutorials to teach us
Oh
things
my
like this.
God, yes, they are a lifesaver.
Because like before YouTube tutorials, what would you have had to do? I mean, what age were you when you decided when you made the jump from Puerto Rico to New York, and how difficult was it to get in at the start without YouTube and stuff like that?
Well, when I left Puerto Rico, I already have 5 years in at the University of Puerto Rico studying art. Then I left when I was 21 years old. I went to New York, and that's where I went to study stop motion animation at the School of Visual Arts. But yeah, that's and then from then I stay here because in Puerto Rico they didn't have the opportunities for me to continue and grow on my art. And then that's where I went to. I was working for Celebrity Deathmatch, but
And
that's
it's
how it started.
and obviously how do you get to visit Puerto Rico very often? Obviously not right now, but do you try go back?
Yeah, I travel back actually because of the feature film I'm trying to get funding for. I had to go back a couple of months ago I have to go there and do some research, and then came back. And it's not that bad because from here to Puerto Rico is only 3 hours, so it's not a big problem with the COVID thing. But from now on, I'm not traveling because now there's some new strains of virus, and I have to count myself lucky of the last time I didn't get it. And because I'm also allergic to, I probably will be allergic to the vaccine. So I probably, it's better that to stay out and stay here in my house. But
Absolutely.
Puerto Rico, yes, I'm really trying to do this new film over there, and it's a feature film. It's an adventure feature film, and I'm trying hard to get funding.
Y-
It's very hard, especially for a female director, because well, we don't get what others. A female director and also indigenous from Puerto Rico. Not the they don't. I don't receive the enough help for because of who am I or something. Is there's a lot of discrimination basically, and that's the
y-
reality. But that doesn't make me feel. I know I'm gonna make that film. It's gonna take a little bit of time, but the reality is one, and I have to live with that reality sometimes.
That's absolutely brilliant. We got a brilliant interview from What a Legend, says John McAlinden. A genuinely amazing, inspiring person. Alan is now following you on Instagram. So you've got a
Oh,
new
thank you, Alan.
so you've got a new Instagram follower there. And I mean, it must be exciting to know that. But you've achieved so much now. It's amazing. So with this film that you're trying to get made, that you're just getting waiting for that funding. Is there anything else you're working on just now that we might see soon?
Well, so far, this film, because of how big it is in special effects, imagine Alita Battle Angel or Avatar. That's the kind of funding we need for this film. And is hard. The screenplay is done, concept designs are done, pitch Bible done, but it's hard to get the funding. It's hard to get investors to invest on this film.
And yeah,
And it's such a beautiful film if you see it. It's just so powerful emotionally, powerful in the message, and it's I cannot talk too much about it
okay.
right now, but
Don't give away all the secrets. You can't give away the secrets, not just yet.
exactly.
Uh, what about the? I seen that you are qualified for the Oscar. What
Mm.
does that mean with the Oscar qualified?
Wow. Well, the I don't know if well, it's like a BAFTA award. It's
Is
in
that what
Los
you're
Angeles.
is that what you've got in the photo?
Yeah, I was qualified to participate with films that from all over the world for Dacto Cataino, but that statuette, this one, is
Oh, cool.
different. This is
All right.
it's kind of like the Oscar for indigenous peoples, for people who are from a tribe. In this case, for Dacto Cataino, I won the indigenous festival, and that's that one. That's the statuette. For the Oscar, I was qualified, but didn't go to the second round. So I was qualified, but didn't win.
Can we talk about the visionary leader, and what that means
The
to you?
which I didn't understand. Hmm?
Vision. It's just like I noticed in the website. It's vision. You're a visionary leader, which I can tell just by talking to you after a few minutes. A visionary leader.
Adventure. Uh, hmm.
A visionary. A
Ah,
visionary.
visionary.
A
Okay,
visionary.
okay.
Sorry, it's just the accent sometimes.
Baby, I have my own accents. Believe me. I mean, because I came from the Spanish language. Yeah, some things get mixed up. But yeah, as a visionary leader, it would be more like what I did for Dr. Cataino, which was make my films that can leave a message, and that message is universal. That's how, as a visionary, the vision for the to lead the next generation into the right path, or understanding who they are, their identity, for example. Yeah.
And I've got another wee clip here just now. You can maybe talk us through this after I play it. It's on your website. It's hold on, I'll bring it on just now. So watch this, and you can tell us a little
Oh,
bit about
Kia.
Kia. So hopefully I can make that full screen. Oh, okay, right.
So Kia is a horror film.
Okay, let's. Okay. Sorry, 2 seconds. I just need to add it back in. So this is the horror film from the Kia. Let us know what you think of this, guys.
Mira, siempre va a estar contigo. Nada va a pasar.
Yeah.
Yes.
This film, because of the pandemic, we were about to shoot this film in Puerto Rico when the pandemic hit, and then we have to stop production because obviously we have a child that is the star of the film. We didn't want to put the child in danger of getting COVID. So the film is about this mother and daughter that are living in Peru, going all the way to to Mexico and to the border between Mexico and the United States to find asylum. They get separated at the border and put in a concentration camps in the United States, which is happening. By the way, it still
Yes, but they don't,
happens.
they don't use the word concentration camp though.
Hmm?
They've rebranded it so they don't use the phrase concentration camp, but that's
That's
exactly what
that's
it
what
is.
it is. That's what it is. Everybody know, there's no, like when you know what's happening in the border, how they separate mother and children, that they cannot even put back together after so many years, and 7 children have died inside these places. That's the only name that I can put on, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the film, I was kind of a little scared of making that film under the Trump administration, because it was a film that it was going to be not kind to what they were doing. So the film, at the end, when they get separated, the child dies inside the concentration camp. So yes, we have some fantasy elements in it. Yes, we have monsters within the film that we created. We have a character with prosthetics and everything, but we couldn't finish the film because of the pandemic. You know, um, let's see what happens now with the new administration. Hopefully,
Do
children
you
will
have
be put it back together.
hope? Do you have hope for the new Biden administration?
I have hope. Yes, I think a lot of things are happening this week. Good things are happening. Um, I just wish them a lot of luck. But one of the things that have to be in their agenda right now is putting back these children with their moms and dads.
Absolutely, and that should be a priority.
Yeah.
We've got Aria says, really pleased, cut this interview, been really informative and inspiring. Rebecca Radical says, really left an impression on me. You know, I've followed you on Insta and I'll be checking out more of your stuff after this interview. Proper inspiring stuff.
Thank you.
Ali Grant says, it's great to have such a variety of guests on this show. We're pretty spoiled. Paul's laughing at my American accent, and Ali. Well, I was trying to say visionary. So the reason that I normally I put in an English accent when people don't understand me, but then I realised that you might not be familiar, so I'd be visionary. But you might not know the English accent. So I was like trying to think of an American accent, which is more like visionary. But then I thought it's Spanish, so I was trying to put in a kind of
My
Spanish
Spanish
American.
would be visionary, Visionario.
Visionario. Visionario. So, yeah. And you displayed moral concern for your team. The most major studios would not, is a very good point as well. Yeah, at the end of the day, the film can get made when it's safe to do so. So that's the right way to look at it. So thank you very much. I hope everyone is adds you on Insta and Twitter. And hopefully we'll see you on Saturday for the Burn Supper, and we can teach you more about Alba, which means sunrise.
Thank you so much.
and
You
it
know
means
how
white.
happy I am of
Yeah.
meeting you and being with you guys. You really helped me. Today was a hard day for me. Before the interview,
Yeah.
I had a meeting, and with different kind of meeting. But then having you as an interview in this interview helped me so much from
Oh,
within.
thank you
I
very
feel
much.
so loved. Thank you so much.
I'm feeling the love as well. I think everyone's enjoyed the show. It's been an absolute honour to meet you. You're very talented, and I wish you good luck for the year ahead. And somebody go and fund that film. We need to see this film
Yes.
soon. Get
Yes.
it done. Thanks to everyone who's tuned in. Tomorrow night, we're going live to Capture Works for Texture Set. On Friday, we've got Anna Secret Poet on the show.
Oh my
live from
God.
Capture Works. So we've got this happening, and we'll be back. And we'll be back on Saturday for the big one, Friction Burn Supper, live from 7 o'clock. A few last comments coming in, sending all the love hearts. Thanks, Alba. Been great listening to you. A great interview
Thank
to top of a
you.
great day of interviews. Yeah, that's correct. If you've just tuned in tonight, we've already done 2 interviews before. You'll find on our YouTube channel. And Martin Windybank, thank you, Martin, for introducing us to each other. It's been a pleasure. And Alba, thank you. Thank you, Alba. Good luck. And
I'm
see you
gonna
soon.
send some
Yeah.
thank you in Taino, which is Bomatum, and a
Bomatum.
heartfelt greeting in Taino will be Anaka and Chihi. So
Anakachi.
Anaka and Chihi.
Anaka and Chihi.
Beautiful. That's beautiful.
Anaka
They
and
did
Chihi.
it.
Anaka and Chihi. To all of you that are tuned in, thank you. We will see you all tomorrow very, very soon. Alba, Garcia, Rivas, everybody.
Yeah, enough respect in every aspect to the man like Mark. They love what the man talk on the radio. In case you never know. You call that radio, call that the radio. You call that radio, call that the radio. Come and say, ini, mini, my name, oh, just go with the flow. Ini, mini, my name, oh, just go with the flow. So till you miss a mark, now go bend down low. Till you miss a mark, now go bend down low. Boom. Lot of mercy. Yo. You call that radio. You call that radio. Come and say, don't you be another man, I'll go lose your head. Say, don't you be another, me say, and lose the head. Me say, radio. Call that a radio. Straight from out of Glasgow. Straight from out of Glasgow, nice enough for the studio. Come and say, ini, mini, my name, oh, just go with the flow. Ini, mini, my name, oh, just go with the flow. So till you miss a mark, now go bend down low. Till you miss a mark, now go bend down low. No radio. You call that the radio.